Welcome to America UnCanceled. This is Matt Schlapp with this special coverage of the human rights abuses going on in Brazil, the attempt to use lawfare to imprison and silence anybody who speaks up against the current left-wing government, the communist government. We are honored to have another congressman with us here. It takes a lot of courage to speak out at a time when there's so much repression. Congressman Bielinski, tell us what's going on in your country.
Thank you so much for having us. It's a great honor to be here, to be in the country that's the beacon for freedom in the world.
That's questionable right now, but I hope you're going to be right again soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. November, right?
Yeah, November.
Yeah, November. Don't worry. Everything's going to be all right.
Good. Good.
The thing is, you cannot stop. You see? If your country is having problems with freedom of speech, if you're having political prisoners, if you have a whole system fighting you, you should go outside of your country. You should never give up, never surrender. And this is what we're doing here. We're trying to raise awareness to the United States that there's a path leading to damnation, and we are forward on that path than United States is.
Paulo, we had a conversation yesterday at the CPAC offices. We're at the CPAC studio today, but at the offices, about when you face this kind of repression, you have a couple of choices to make.
Yeah.
You can try to play the game, speak up a little bit, speak up from time to time, be smart. I'm not always opposed to that. Sometimes,
no. It's a good strategy.
Sometimes we have to be wise.
You have to survive.
And then there are other times when you just have to go dark.
Yeah.
And then there are times when you have to speak even louder, like with a megaphone. So like you all have a choice. You didn't have to come to America.
No.
You didn't have to go try to have these meetings with the members of Congress, including the Democrats who say they're for democracy, but they're not really for democracy. You didn't have to come meet with CPAC, which certainly in certain quarters, especially in the Western Hemisphere, the left is very aware of CPAC. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that we're trying to organize.
You're the enemy.
So why are you doing this? And
you see,
and what are the consequences?
There's no congressman or congresswoman in Brazil that's free to say what they need to say. So you're absolutely sure that you're living in a dictatorship when you are not allowed to say anything against a person or a regime or anyone. If you're not allowed to criticize, if you're not allowed to speak the truth, you're living in a dictatorship. That's what we are living in. So in the United States, you still have freedom to say it. Yesterday or the day before, we were at Capitol Hill, and there was a woman with a sign on her chest saying, "Fuck Biden." This is freedom. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I want the freedom to say what is necessary. Now, we have a whole judicial system, a whole government system that's set up to silence the opposition. This is not democracy. Mm-hmm. Democracy, you have sides, you have different opinions, you have different options, and you do what's best for you and your family and your values. If you do not have the option to do what's best for you, your family, your values, you're not living in a democracy, and you need help. You need to say to the United States, to the Biden administration, that the United States interests in the world are being harmed by Brazil government. Hurting Brazil is hurting the United States. Mm-hmm. We guarantee food security. We guarantee energy. We guarantee iron. We need that to move forward. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech and democracy are being threatened by China, by Russia, by Venezuela. Mm-hmm. They are all enemies of the United States working in Brazil. In World War II, Brazil was on the side of the United States. My great-grandfather fought with American clothing and American guns against Hitler. He fought in Italy against Mussolini using American guns. This is the true nature of being together as Christians, as free men.
So you'd have to ask all those people that fought for freedom,
Yes.
you know, was it worth it if we're going to give it away? So in America, we're giving it away. You know, we're not having a war inside of America, but what we're having is good people are silenced, and a small minority speaks up, does extraordinarily illegal things, and takes over society. That's why in America we believe that if Trump doesn't win, our nations might not really ever be able to get it back. No. Is it the same thing in Brazil? If you're not able to right some of this and achieve the presidency again?
Exactly. There's a point of no return.
Yeah.
You see? Here we're looking at a graph that showed that you have, after 1986, I think, you had like a certain equilibrium of power, and you have, you have Obama, but you have Trump. Mm-hmm. You see? We came after 1988, we came straightforward, like all left-wing presidents. And then you have Bolsonaro. And then you have hope again that the country is not going to go to a dark place. Now we are going very fast to a point of no return. If we don't change things now, there's no taking back.
And there's no question about where the Brazilian people are.
Absolutely no question.
Is the problem, and you have mandated voting, which is another interesting thing in Brazil. People have to vote or they pay a fine.
Yeah.
So it's not that their voices can't be heard. Will they stand up in record numbers?
They've done it.
Yeah.
They keep doing it. This you see, this is why there's so many people in jail right now being prosecuted. They are crucifying those people to put fear into the hearts of Brazilians. Mm-hmm. Now, because this is the truth about Brazilian conservatives. They are working their asses off to pay taxes. They're trying their best to fight left-wing politics in schools on their kids. They are working hard. They have no time to be in the streets.
That's right.
To be fighting for their freedom.
Politics is almost a luxury because they have to take care of their lives.
Exactly. But these people, on Sundays, like on February 25, Bolsonaro called the people from São Paulo. It's a Sunday. It's a church day. You're not working. Come to Avenida Paulista. And we came. Mm-hmm. It was a sea of people. Mm-hmm. They were all united. They were all peaceful. And they were all saying, we are here for the future of our country. We only want one thing. We want the president to be able to run for elections in 2026. And Trump is going to help us with that.
Okay, so make an appeal. Look at camera here, camera one, and talk to my citizens, my fellow citizens. Why is it important that they stand up for freedom and support Trump? And what will that mean to freedom in Brazil?
Okay, so the biggest connection between the people, the good people of the United States and good people of Brazil is the loving of God. It's being absolutely sure that what we are doing here is way more than just material. It's just we are looking for the salvations of our souls. If we're looking up to that, and we just want the opportunity to be able to live that. This is not Democrats against Republicans or Liberal Party against, no, this is the good and evil fight. And Trump is fighting for good, and Biden is fighting for evil. What we need now is that we need all the good people of the United States, of Brazil, and the world to unite and to be able to keep existing and keep working for their salvation.
And how do you know, whenever a person of faith asks themselves if they know they're doing good, right? So you have to ask yourself that every day. Isn't part of that knowing whether people are more miserable with what occurs from one government to the next? So in America, what you have is poor people are more miserable today, and poverty is worse. More drug abuse, more suicides, more people living on the street, more crime, more desperation, more kids being confused by gender theory and all these questions, more racial disharmony with their policies.
Yes.
To me, that's a double check on the fact that their policies can't be coming from a good place.
You're creating entropy. You're creating conflict all the time. And this conflict building is only to divide the people, to keep you away from the goals of your family and your freedom. I saw a book on your office.
Yeah, you were upstairs.
Yes. I took a big...
I didn't know you were there, and I was a little worried because I hadn't been there for a while that it might be a little dirty, but it looked okay.
You had a book about Christian voting.
Yeah.
This is all there is.
Yeah.
There's nothing more.
Yeah.
So we have to vote to get the opportunity to work for the salvation of ourselves.
Yeah.
This is God-loving people.
Yeah, Congressman, thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much
today, and thank you for your message. And let me tell you, I asked some of your colleagues if they had hope. I also have hope. So I want you guys to go back to Brazil and get there safely and go back to your families, but leave having hope that the vast majority, millions and millions and millions more people in America are coming from a good place. And they want to let your country determine what your laws are,
Yes.
but they also don't want to allow your government to kind of shut you down. And that's an American value that is still believed by most of the people, but through CNN and the corrupt media, you probably don't know that because you don't get to see that or hear that, but it's the truth. So travel safely, and
Thank you so much.
hopefully we'll see you for CPAC this year.
Pray for us. Pray for Brazil. We're praying for United States too.
Good way to end it. These have been really amazing interviews that we've had with our friends from Brazil, both members of the media, citizens and people, and also courageous elected officials. It's an important time to defend our freedoms, to nurture, right, the garden of freedom. It's an incredibly important time to do that. And so for all of you listening across America, you think that all this is politics sometimes, and you wonder, politics is dirty and politics is sometimes not clear. But we're at a clarifying moment in America. It's time to stand up. And everyone around the globe who loves freedom and loves families and loves faith, they're rooting for Americans to do the right thing, and they're rooting for us to be brave. Question is, will we be brave? Will we stand up for the right things? And so we have several months here in this country to talk about this, and I think we're going to do the right thing. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back with you with more of this conversation and how